This episode is geared specifically for home buyers or anyone looking to purchase real estate. That also means if you are a realtor or you are a mortgage loan originator, you must tune in. You're gonna love our take on Dave Ramsey. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Dio, what's poppin'?
You and I, for the first time in our new studio in Lake Mary, Florida, JC.
Like a trap house.
It's like a trap house, but I trust every time I walk in here, you are taking one step further to getting it fully built out.
Yeah, it's baby steps though.
I saw the credit card. I saw you purchased some furniture.
Yeah, it's, we got to balance, checks and balances. But yeah, shout out Modani Furniture in Orlando.
Shout out. No, this is going to be phenomenal. Like already it's exciting. I leave the office in Winter Park now every Tuesday morning. I drive the 15, 20 minutes up to Lake Mary, where we have an entire 12-foot by 16-foot studio that you're building out, where we're going to be able to not only record our podcast, but we're going to be able to make training videos for TLOPonline.com. And letting y'all know now, we are going to take our YouTube channel. That, by the way, to me, it hasn't been a YouTube channel. It's been a place where we could host our podcast for those that like to watch us versus just listen to us. But it wasn't a legit podcast, or it wasn't a legit YouTube channel.
Right.
The way that, like, I don't know, Mr. Beast or Patrick Bet David has a YouTube channel.
Never heard of them.
That's fine. You don't need to have heard of them. But we need to go look at what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can start putting our own, like, shorter form content.
You don't know this, but there's this, I just found out this stuff called AI. You can use AI and it's crazy.
Yeah. Or is someone turning on to AI finally?
Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole.
All right. Well, maybe AI will help you further make this studio as badass as it's going to be.
This shit is going to pop once it's done.
And we are going to do all of our podcast recordings here. We are going to do all of the trainings, which we drop anywhere between 4 to 6 a month, brand new, to TLOPonline.com. That's members only.
Yeah.
But we're going to be putting additional content you and I have never done before. We're going to be putting up on our YouTube channel starting next month.
Yes.
Starting in February 2024. I always forget this isn't a live radio broadcast.
Yeah.
So people don't know that it's the end of January when we're recording this. This is dropping on, I think, February 2nd. What's Friday?
Shit.
What's Friday's date?
February 2nd.
Yeah, it's going to drop on February 2nd.
Every day's Groundhog Day to me now, Dustin.
So we're going to jump right into it. The title of today's episode is purely stated or questioned.
Clickbaity.
AI is going to help you do it. No, they're not. I'm doing this shit. I'm doing this title.
Made by a human.
Is Dave Ramsey out of touch?
Probably.
That is the answer. We could go ahead and say, all right, that's all for today, folks.
Quick editing for me.
Yeah, right. You would love that. But no, is Dave Ramsey out of touch? Over the weekend, I was scrolling through my news feed. I don't know if I was on Instagram or Facebook, and I saw something that was posted by the Ramsey team, and I read it. And I'm not opposed to Dave Ramsey in general. If you've been tuning in over the past 4 years, it's a great starting place. Just like T-ball was a great place for me to teach my kid how to swing a baseball bat.
Just like shitting your pants in diapers was the first way before you had to walk and use the toilet.
I guess so, maybe.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Everyone has to start somewhere. And for some people, just mastering what Dave Ramsey teaches, like, that is a major accomplishment. It should be celebrated, and they will live a happy life.
However,
but that's not all people. And there are people out there that are engaged, that are disciplined, that are above average intelligence, at which point I screenshotted what was posted, and I was like, I'm calling bullshit on a couple aspects. So we're going to talk about that.
Let's do.
And it's everything that comes with purchasing a home and financing a home.
Okay.
Something that I've been doing
for a minute or
for
two.
20 years.
For just a little bit.
Yes. Now, Dave Ramsey generates leads through his radio show and sells those leads to mortgage lenders, but Dave doesn't do loans for a living. Dave's not talking to home buyers 3 to 4 a day every single day, 52 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
Like our loan officers and our company owners and our branch managers who tune into the show, the real estate agents who tune in, like, we're the boots on the ground. So I want to do an entire episode where we're going to gear it towards those home buyers. And heck, I said home buyers, it could be parents who have adult age children living at home and they have failure to launch
out
syndrome. And they're like, yeah, peace out, homie. Like,
it's time for you to leave.
Let me give you some sound financial advice. So loan officers, we're making this content for you so you can swipe and adapt it, so you can share it, so you can chop it up and put it on your social. Realtor, same exact thing. Like, listen to us, and instead of you telling your buyer these things, let us tell them. We'll be the cool uncles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
And I have my phone on the table. And the reason why I have the phone on the table is because I want
You've been prepping a lot lately for these podcasts, and it's starting to scare me.
I want to read what was posted, and I'm going to offer commentary.
Good.
But please know that my commentary comes from 20 years experience. I have personally funded thousands of home loans for home buyers, right? I coach hundreds of loan originators to do what I did very successfully so that they can do it. And we are helping Americans generate the most amounts of wealth through real estate, through home ownership.
Yeah.
And we help them leverage the debt to do so.
Okay.
Like, I think I know a thing or two, and I could be what they would call out there a SME.
SME, subject matter expert.
Yes. So, but before we do it, I have what you've told me. I have 2 minutes max of housekeeping.
That means it's going to go 5.5. I apologize in advance, ladies and gentlemen.
You start counting your head backwards.
99. What is this, a DUI checkpoint? I couldn't do that if I was sober, officer. What the hell? Don't tell me that shit.
Quietly. From 200, not from 100. All right. No, but check this out, y'all. Everyone needs to understand that we have an event coming up in Tallahassee, Florida, next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, which is going to be, pull out my calendar, February can you do that math, John, in your head? It's going to be February the 7th. I'm going to be in Tallahassee, Florida, speaking for the Mortgage Bankers Association. If you are in or around the 850, I invite you. Come say hi, come hang out, check out what they're doing over at the MBA of Tallahassee, and you'll listen to me give an hour keynote plus do some Q&A.
Go Knowles.
If you're not in the southeast of the United States, you're not in or around Tallahassee, Florida, no worries. I'm going to invite you right now. You're hearing it first. I'm going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona the next day. So I'm flying to Scottsdale. It's Guys Weekend. I don't know if you know this, John, but there's a little thing called the Waste Management golf tournament.
Yeah, that's
also called the People's Open.
That's where, on the 17th hole at the stadium hole, that's where everybody gets drunk and throws beer and takes off their shirt. I'm well aware.
16th hole. All right. So
what did I say, 17?
You said 17.
Okay, yeah.
So y'all, check this out. If you are in or around that Glendale, Phoenix, Scottsdale area, I'm going to be staying in Old Town, Scottsdale. That's where my hotel is. But I'm thinking, how cool would this be? It's 2024, new year, new us.
Yeah.
Let's do a TLOP pop-up happy hour.
Yes.
Like, look, I'm not buying y'all drinks. You got to buy your own drinks.
But you can come look at me.
Because those beers on Friday when I go to the golf tournament
are not.
Yeah, they're going to be hella expensive,
cheap.
right?
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They're not cheap. But how cool would it be? So continue to follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Facebook, because we're going to be posting starting on Monday where that event's going to be. But it will be Old Town Scottsdale. It's going to be from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. I'm going to be there. I have a buddy with me, my buddy Rob. Rob's been on the show a couple times. And we're going to go have a couple beers, do a little happy hour, and we invite you, Scottsdale, Phoenix, Glendale, Gilbert, that whole, Phoenix, Arizona geography. Y'all are welcome. I would love for you to pop by, have a beer with us, say hi, talk shop, and, do something cool and fun before it's time to go home for dinner.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on February the 8th. Our first only TLOP.
Our first one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I want to do this like anytime that I travel.
Yeah, you should.
I would love to be able to do a TLOP.
Drop a pen.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Okay.
I'll post stories. We'll do reels, all that good jazz.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I need to remind everyone of, 2024 is more than likely the last year that I, as Dustin Owen, personally coach loan officers. Now, I'm not talking about the stuff I do on the TLOP Online community. I love doing that. I plan on doing that for as long as I'm in this industry for the next 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
And I love what we're doing at TLOP Online. But for the past few years, I've taken select groups of loan originators, groups of anywhere between 8 to 10, and we go through a legitimate business coaching course.
Yeah.
It's accountability, it's homework, but the people who do it, it's life-changing. It's what allows them to either break through that barrier that's holding them back or allows them to level up. Okay, we have 3 spots left. We're launching our spring of 2024 LO launch is the name of the course. We're launching it. More than likely, I anticipate it being the last time I personally coach.
Okay.
Now, we're going to offer this going forward, and we're going to build upon it. But the faculty that I'm building out, people like Coach Gwen, people like Coach Brian, they're going to take over the coaching when we get into the spring. So if you want to be coached by me, if you want to join a badass, really economically priced, like the investment is pretty easy to gain your ROI, then reach out to Nikki Ray, R-H-E-Y. Nikki's N-I-K-K-I. She's on the TLOP team. Nikki at tloponline.com. She can give you the details. She can help you figure out, is this good for you or is this not good for you? Like, because we might not be good for you. You might not be ready. Or this may be something that you have to go dig underneath your couch, find the loose change, and find a way to make the investment because you're going to triple, quadruple, or 10x your money within the first 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
LFG.
Let's effing go.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
Is Dave Ramsey out of touch?
Probably.
So let me start with I'm going to read you the post that chapped my rear end.
Oh, God.
Got my panties in a wad.
Okay.
Gave me the inspiration to do this show.
All right.
So again, don't know Dave Ramsey. Never talked to him. I respect the hell of everything that he's done. So Ramseyites out there, please
attack Dustin
do
Owen.
not come at
Attack
me.
Dustin Owen. You can find him easily on LinkedIn.
All I'm saying is that there could be aspects of this post that I think are out of touch that just aren't realistic.
Well, tell me because I'll be the perfect subject case because I can tell you. So go ahead. Hit me with your.
So
best
Dave
shot.
Ramsey says, which by the way, he's very bullish on buying a house, especially in today's market. So for that, Dave, I high five you. We agree. But it states, and he has 4 bullet points plus a disclaimer. Before buying your first home, pay off all of your debt. I struggle with the word all. I'll come back to that. The second, save an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses.
You agree with that?
I agree with that. Yes, sir. Dave and I are on point. Decide on the price of a home you can afford. All right. Seems pretty rational. Dave goes on to write in parentheses, I recommend buying a home where the payment is no more than 25% of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage. Huh?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have issues with the 15-year fixed mortgage. I'll come back to that. And 25% of your take-home pay? Yeah, man. That's like sitting down with a doctor who says, I want you to never touch a French fry, never eat candy, don't eat birthday cake, don't sip alcohol, only drink water, work out 50 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and be nice and smile to everyone that you see and don't have a bad day.
Okay. That probably won't happen, Doc.
That probably won't happen.
Yeah,
That's probably not realistic.
Hell no.
So we're going to come back specifically to the 25% because it's take-home pay versus gross pay, and it's 15-year fixed. Cool. And then save a down payment of at least 5% of the home you can afford. 20% is even better. Okay, 20% is even better. Cool. Yes. You know what? Never eating fast food or processed food, only drinking water, I'm sure is better. I just don't know if that's realistic. And there's a lot of missed opportunities when you sit back trying to save a 20% down payment. A lot of financially missed opportunities. So then finally, at the very bottom, the footnote, it reads, if you can't afford the home you want using the above guidelines, you'll need to wait and save a larger down payment. So the monthly payment will decrease to find another home that has a price that fits your budget. Let's start there because I have issues there. You cool with that?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Do you have any input, any say?
No. Does this guy still have a TV show or some shit?
Yes.
Look, come on,
John,
CNN.
you know what I want for us?
What?
At some point, Dave has to retire.
Yeah,
at some point, look, I'm already saying that I think the guy may be a little bit out of touch. He may be a little bit outdated. Why don't you and I slide in?
Yeah.
We can, look, Dave's done amazing things for the American populace. You and I can do amazing things. We'll just be cooler.
You can.
Younger,
I ain't helping nobody.
hipper.
No, I'll follow your lead. I'm not voluntarily like helping anybody. But the only time I see Dave Ramsey is when I'm like trying to catch a flight and I see the shit on like headline news at the airport. That's the only time I see him.
I don't need any of that. I do want to be able to offer sound fiscal advice at the very basic level.
Yeah.
At the very and then teach it and teach it in a manner that.
Well, you are. I am remedial, and you've taught me a lot of like valuable principles. I have still yet to adopt them, but I know what the principles are. So let's start.
There's a saying: you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Do
is,
you know that's true? Have you ever tried to?
No,
get
but
a horse
you know,
because
I think your annual pilgrimage to 7D Ranch out.
It is this year.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm
getting excited.
I know you are.
I'm getting excited. 7D Ranch, shout out.
Whiskey by the fire.
Greatest vacation ever. Y'all should follow them on social.
We'll be looking forward to doing our podcast live from there. That'd be awesome.
It is God's country.
I know.
Yeah. If there is a God.
That's
his country.
That's your boy. Dave thinks, your boy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Your boy Dave dabbles.
All right. So he dabbles in that.
He dabbles in that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Dave loves himself. 15-year fixed mortgages and God. All right. Good deal. So let's jump in where I said, if you can't afford the home you want, this is me quoting the post that came from Ramsey. It came from his team. I mean, Dave wasn't posting this shit on Saturday.
Of course not.
But if you can't afford the home that you want, using the above guidelines, you'll need to wait and save a larger down payment. So let's think about this. $10,000. A lot of money?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It would take you a year to save 10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with you cutting out Negronis, cutting out going to Hillstone.
I've been trying to save $10,000 my whole life, Dustin, but keep it going.
Okay. So 10 grand's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So someone would spend a year. They may even take a second job.
Mm-hmm.
Home Depot pushing carts. They may go valet cars. They'll do something. Get their 10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what happened. 10 grand saves them a whopping $70 a month on their housing payment.
Mm-hmm.
If they do a 15-year fix, like Dave says, $100 a month. Okay, $100 a month.
Spend that on a Friday.
Or $70 a month, that should not make or break whether or not someone's able to buy a house or not buy a house.
Right.
Hell, your taxes and your insurance will go up in many cases by more than $70 or $100 from one year to the next. Your cable bill may go up, your auto insurance. So, I get being mindful of every penny being spent, but that's dumb advice. 10 grand is really hard to save. And it's only going to save you $70 a month, let alone, look, the house today that's priced at 300 grand in just 12 months is 309. So cool. You say it's been a whole year. You saved 10 grand more, but the house that you would have bought for 300 is 309. The house you would have paid for 400 is now 412.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you paid more. You spent all that time saving money and you're net neutral best case. Mm-hmm. But you know what you missed? Because you were living somewhere. Yeah. Unless you were going to live,
on the carpet because you can't afford no damn couch. That's where you were sleeping for the past year.
Yeah, or you're staying in the basement, up in the bonus room with your auntie or your parents or your grandparents.
Shit.
Assuming you were living somewhere, you were paying for housing.
Right.
So you just went an entire year of not paying of paying housing that wasn't a house that you owned. Therefore, it wasn't a mortgage. Therefore, none of your housing payment went towards your equity. What people don't understand is that when you make a mortgage payment, your mortgage payment is principal and interest. So principal is you paying down your loan. Principal is essentially you depositing cash into your backyard. Mm-hmm. Like that money is not making you money. Not like when you deposit cash into an ETF or cash into a mutual fund or your 401k. No, like in those cases, it can earn you money. But you're putting money in. So after 1 year, you paid housing, but you paid down your loan, which means you inserted cash into your home to the tune of $5 to $6 grand. So waiting very rarely makes sense. By the way, I want to throw this caveat out there. There are people who aren't ready to be homeowners. That is okay. You're not ready typically because you don't have your reserve assets. You're not ready because you don't have stable employment that's reliable, right? Like that's like, hey, look, I'm not ready. You're not ready because you don't feel like you're going to live in that geographic area for long. I graduated college. I moved to Atlanta. I didn't buy a home in Atlanta because to me, Atlanta was a 2-year stopping point. Would have made no sense for me to buy a house until I decided, hey, you know what? I love this market. I love my career opportunities. I'm going to be staying here. The minute I made that decision, I should have become a homeowner, but I didn't because I wasn't fixed on living in Atlanta. So there's definitely people out there that homeownership is not for you. It's just not. If you can't manage your money, and you don't have the reserve assets, or you don't have the ability to own and continue to put money away, maybe homeownership's not for you.
Speaking to my heartstrings right there, Dustin.
And here's the reason why. It's not because you're not going to value homeownership or benefit from home ownership. You still would, right? If somebody was living paycheck to paycheck and they could cover their rent, but after their rent, they didn't have any money left for 401k or any money left to go to their reserves. I mean, a lot of people live that way. It's unfortunate, but it's true. The benefit of that lifestyle is that when your apartment breaks, when the house that you're renting needs repair, that shit isn't coming out of your bank account. That's coming out of the landlord's bank account. So there's definitely a am I ready to buy component. You may check the box of I have stable employment. You may check the box of I'm going to be living in this geographic area for the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
But if you don't check the box of I can afford the payment and I have 6 months reserves and I can afford the payment as well as save something on a monthly basis, maybe homeownership isn't for you, because it is good to know. And this is where Dave and I would probably, if he drinks beer, have a beer together and agree. People have to understand when they become homeowners that home is going to cost you 1 to 3% of its property value in annual maintenance. So that $400,000 house that you own, that's $4,000 to $12,000 a year that you're going to be putting back into the home. It could be landscaping. It could be deferred maintenance. It could be because the AC breaks. It could be because the pool needs to be resurfaced. Who knows? And if you're in smaller markets, the same numbers apply. Like now you're buying a house for $250,000. Okay, then 1% of 250 is $2,500, 3% $7,500. So if you're in, let's say more of the central part of the country, Kansas, Indiana, Nebraska, where maybe home values aren't as expensive, then the good news is it's cheaper to keep them up. Follow me?
Yeah.
So far? All right. So that was the first thing that I had. I'm like, damn, I just have an issue with this. It's just, I just don't get it. This is where I'm afraid the guy's out of touch.
Sounds like he's trying to cultivate minions so he can then funnel them into his product so they can buy some shit.
Well, correct. At the end of the day, that dude's worth $40 million.
Way out of touch.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest lead generators for mortgage companies and real estate companies. He has books to sell and courses to take. And look, you and I look at what he's doing from a business standpoint, and I see inspiration there. I think there is a way to take your talents and your experience and offer it to others while also being able to provide for your family.
That's true.
Right? Like there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a happy medium there.
Doctors do it. Lawyers do it. CPAs do it. Like, why can't people who give financial advice, who help people become better, help people advance in life, why shouldn't they also be compensated? So I actually look up to and respect the business of what Dave Ramsey does. It's just some philosophical differences where I'm saying, hey, dude's awesome, but he could be out of touch. So pay off all your debt. Let's start at the top. That was the first thing that I mentioned. Pay off all your debt. I'm like,
I do that. I'll tell you that.
You do.
I do. Yes. I mean, I was fortunate enough, parents helped me out with going to college, but shit, they're the ones that made me go anyway. So don't hold that over my head. Being like, oh, I paid for your college. But yeah, I live a good lifestyle, but I do pay off my credit cards every single month religiously. I've never paid interest.
Okay. Congratulations. And that's freaking awesome. And I think that's great advice on the credit cards.
I'm poor as shit, but yeah, I'd never pay interest.
How about this? What about your car loan?
No,
How about this? How about your student loans?
No, yeah.
Some people have them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pay off all your debt. That's where I had an issue with that word all.
Yeah, that's a lot.
All your debt? Credit card debt, I can get behind. I've already admitted, yes, 3 to 6 months should be that step one. Okay. And I would say in a perfect world, you have no credit card debt. Not that you don't have credit cards, not that you don't use credit cards. Right. It's just that you're accustomed to only putting things on your credit card for convenience to rack up the points, and then you pay them off monthly. Correct. And you have 3 to 6 months in a liquid account, like a savings account or a money market account. That's your emergency fund. I'm down with that, but I'm not down with paying off my car. I'm not down with paying off my student loans because I want to operate my household the way that businesses operate. And I'm talking like Fortune 100 fiscally sound businesses where I understand that debt is something I can leverage to my benefit, right? I may have a car payment because instead of paying $40,000 to purchase that certified pre-owned, yeah, Dave, you and I get along. Certified pre-owned. I was 44 years old before I ever bought a brand new car. 44. Every car before that was either used AF
Do you look at
or certified
Do you look at that
pre-owned.
vehicle? Side note: do you look at that vehicle any different since you did buy it brand new?
I don't. And do you know why I bought it brand new?
Because that's the only way you can buy cars now off the internet.
Because it was the same price.
Mm.
It was the same price. I was just at the dealership getting my daughter's 10-year-old car that has 130,000 miles on it serviced. And I was talking to the service manager about when my son's car dies, because his car is at a point where it's worth $3,000 and it needs $2,000 worth of work. And the guy's like, yeah, don't do it.
Yahtzee.
Yeah, he's like, don't do it. That just tells us we have another year or two before that car is going to be ready to be retired, put out to the graveyard, shipped off to be chopped up for parts, whatever you do with old ass cars. But I was talking to him about wanting to buy my son this like Toyota Tacoma when he turns 21. Like, hey son, congratulations. Last thing mom and I are going to do for you. Here's a truck. And it won't be brand new. I was like, it'll be certified pre-owned with like 25 to 30,000 miles. He goes, nah. I go, what? He goes, you can get that same truck for $600 more brand new.
Wow.
So yeah, so when I bought my car brand new, I really did it because cost-wise, it may have been $3,000 more, and I picked everything. I mean, the color of the interior, the color of the rims, the color.
The brake calipers.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I financed it. Do you know why I financed it?
Because you are the person that says I could pay it with cash, but I could also put 2% or something in the market, and the delta between the interest I would have paid and what I would get from the market is like $50. So I'm sticking it to the man by putting my money in the market instead of that's.
Yeah. I'm not even sticking it to the man. I'm actually paying the man because the man's Ford Motor Company's finance company, finance on.
But in the end, you win.
I got 1.9% interest. Yeah, like the S&P 500 did 13% last year. Well, if I can service that debt, if I make enough money that I can cover my household bills, right? That's cell phone, that's cable, that's internet, that's car insurance, like all of that, and I can service that car loan, yes. 1.9%, I think over 5 years, I'm paying a whopping $2,000 on a $50,000 vehicle. I mean, I made $5,000 just last year by putting that money into a standard like S&P 500 ETF or mutual fund. So yeah, I disagree with pay off all debt. I do agree that you need to be able to service your debt. And that's where I'm going to come into this rule. And this is where I disagreed earlier when Dave says, decide on the price of the home you can afford 25% of your take-home pay. I don't think that's realistic. I think that's pie in the sky. I think that's amazing if you can do it, but not many people can. I would tell you 25% of your gross monthly income. So you make $60,000 a year, your spouse makes $60,000 a year, that's $120,000 household income. That's $10,000, just using quick, easy math. $10,000, your take-home pay on that would probably be somewhere around, let's just say, after you do 401k, you do your Social Security, your Medicare, you do your federal, maybe you do some benefits. It may be somewhere around, I don't know, $7,500 to $8,000. Let's just use $8,000. Maybe live in Florida where you and I live, there's no state income tax, unlike living in California. So it's $8,000. So $8,000 is what you're netting. Dave says 25% of that number. I say 25% of 10,000 because I think 25% of the gross number is difficult in today's landscape with how expensive apartments have become, how expensive it is to rent a house, which means how expensive it is to own a house.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're renting or you're owning. At least with home ownership, there's benefits that we'll continue to talk about. So I disagree with his saying net number. I'm going to tell you it's a gross number. And I stand pretty firmly with my heels in the sand on that one. I've had an issue with Ramsey advice since I was first introduced to him 10 years ago, which, by the way, great place to start. If you're trying to learn how to become less of a mess financially, read a Ramsey book. Literally, read a Ramsey book, or you can go read The Richest Man in Babylon, because I think Dave read The Richest Man in Babylon.
And just paraphrased it.
And then from there launched his radio show, consulting, coaching, book writing company, right? Because Richest Man in Babylon teaches the same exact thing that you would learn by reading a Dave Ramsey book. But anyhow, I've had issue with the 15-year fixed mortgage because my experience, 20 years in the industry, here's what I can tell anyone and everyone about a 15-year fixed mortgage. Here's who it's for. People who have fuck you money.
Give me money. I got it.
Yeah. Like, look, if you have fuck you money, pardon my French there, but that means like you're financing your home so that you can leverage debt, but you like the idea of having your debt paid off quicker, and you knew a 15-year fixed mortgage helped you save on interest, and you can afford whatever payment I put in front of you. Whether it's $2,000 a month or $5,000 a month, it doesn't matter because you have FU money.
DKF.
Okay. Or if you are such a financial imbecile, okay, where if I leave you up to your own laurels, you are going to purposefully, out of spite, make every wrong decision.
That's me.
Okay, double middle fingers in the air to the experts. And if you get $1, you're going to go spend $1.10. If I give you $5, you're going to go spend $6. There are people in this world that they can afford any payment, but man, if you give them the cheapest payment, they're not going to take the leftover money and do something good with it. It is going to go to hair, nails, vacations. It's going to be buying bougie stuff, staying at bougie places, flying first class versus flying comfort, right? They're just going to blow it. If that's the case, let me introduce you to a 15-year fixed mortgage, because at a minimum, it will force your ass to pay off the debt on the biggest asset you're probably going to own, which is your home. But for most of us, a 15-year fixed mortgage it's not even in the cards. It's not even in the cards, because on a $300,000 mortgage, okay, so if you're in California, people are laughing. Dio, I can't get a $300,000 mortgage. But if you're in Terre Haute, Indiana, a $300,000 mortgage may be a 3,000 square foot house. So I'm just going to use the number for 300, but we could go up to 400, 500, 600. I mean, hell, the conforming loan limit is now $750,000+. Okay. So for that reason, I use 400. Okay. On a $400,000 house, the difference in payment between a 30-year fixed and a 15-year fixed is upwards of $800. $800. Oof. To give you an idea of what $800 does if you're on a 30-year fixed mortgage in terms of purchasing power, $800 is like $150,000 in purchase price. So all of a sudden, you're not buying a $500,000 house, you're buying $350,000. Okay, well, what does a $350,000 house come with? Well, it may be in an undesirable area, so that's going to impact my appreciation. It may be an older home. That's going to make it more expensive for me to be able to own because the upkeep is going to be so high. It may be in an area that doesn't have the best public school system, but I can't afford private school because all my money's going to this 15-year fixed mortgage. So now I'm sending my children off to a school that may put them at a disadvantage going forward because of how the American school system is set up. We don't operate like Finland. If you want to go find the best school system, go check out what they're doing in Finland. What's really cool about that is Finland 40 years ago had one of the worst school systems in the developed world. Okay, that's for a whole different topic, whole different podcast episode. So I have an issue with the 15-year fixed mortgage because it's forcing someone to take on a higher payment, which means they now can qualify and afford less. And with that less, it comes with those three things that I mentioned. It also comes with this. If your home's going to appreciate at 3% per year, do you earn more in appreciation on a $350,000 house or a $500,000 house? Well, it's pretty simple. 3% of 500 is more than 3% of 350. It's $15,000 of increased equity on that $500,000 house, and it's $10,000 to $11,000 of increased equity on the $350,000 house. So that 15-year fixed mortgage is handcuffing people into a lower price sales home that's a home that's older, that needs more upkeep, potentially in an undesirable area, potentially that could impact where they send their children off for school, and it's going to appreciate at a lot less money per year, which means you're earning and gaining less wealth on the smaller price. And by the way, on a 30-year fixed mortgage, you can pay extra. There is nothing that prevents John Coleman from getting a big fat bonus because we crushed it at the 2025 TLOP annual event.
Is that happening?
I mean, John, if we put it out there, the people are going to make us do it.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Let's keep this story going.
Okay. So if you have a 30-year fixed mortgage, you can pay down your loan.
Yeah.
Like you can put 10 grand on it, but why do a 15-year fix where it's going to force you to do it? I just don't understand that logic, and I just don't get it. By the way, I have a 15-year fixed mortgage. What does that tell you about me?
That you're fiscally sound and responsible?
Yeah. Or maybe I was able to get to a point in my career where I love having leveraged debt, but I could have paid my house off multiple times over. I could afford whatever payment you put in front of me because I don't live in this extravagant home. I bought my house 13 years ago for $390,000. I'm on my second or third mortgage because I've refinanced a couple of times. The last time I refied was to a 15-year at 2.75 because I didn't care whether my payment was $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month. Didn't matter to me. So let's do $3,000 a month. Plus it helps my wife sleep good at night. And I was already checking all the boxes. Max out the IRA. I max out the 401k. I have a rental property. I put money into a managed account. Like I had nowhere else to put money. So it's like, well, why not? Right? What does my license plate say? Sure, why not?
It does?
Yeah.
Since when?
Probably past like 30 days. It's really hard to decipher because it's actually SRYNT because my UCF license plate could only put 5 symbols or letters or
you
numbers.
You should petition to change that, Dustin.
Yeah. So people are like, what does that say? I'm like, I'll figure it out, but I'll let you know it's 3 words and the middle word is Y.
Don't worry. I'm going to get that orange Lamborghini one day and my license plate with the orange is going to say TLOP.
I thought about getting TLOP. I just couldn't do it. So, I think that's everything I had to say on the 15-year fixed mortgage. Just know although I have one, I'm not the biggest fan. Just like whole life insurance. This isn't for this episode. You and I did. You remember that? Like one of the first episodes we ever did was on whole life insurance.
Yes, I do.
And although I have whole life insurance, I don't think I'm a huge fan of it, but it has its place for certain individuals. I think for most of us, here's what we should aspire to do. And this is how I wrap up the show.
Okay.
For most of us, we should aspire, to have some kind of a community that's around us, whether it's a spouse and children or whether it's just a group of friends that makes life worth living and we have fun.
Yeah.
We have some form of career or job that we enjoy enough. It's fulfilling enough and it allows us to live the life that we want to live. With that, we want to leave this world a little bit better than how we found it.
Allegedly.
Yeah. And it's how you found it. I mean, some people found the world. Shit. Yeah. And some people, however you found it, just leave it better. Yeah. But then it's on a financial standpoint. Mm-hmm. Yes. 3 to 6 months of your lifestyle in reserve. Spend less than you make. Focus on earning more than you focus on saving. It's a lot easier to save when you're focused on earning. And that when you purchase a home, yes, your housing payment, whether it's rent or a mortgage, but we're talking about purchasing a home, it should be 25% of your gross monthly income. It could be upwards of 33% in the current environment. And that's going to be your choice to make. Real estate is still the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 way to generate wealth in this country. Do not have credit card debt, but also don't be in a hurry to pay off your mortgage because too many people are in a hurry to pay off their mortgage and they didn't invest in their 401k, which meant they didn't get the free money their employer was offering. They didn't open up a Roth IRA, which means they don't have the benefits of compound interest and the tax advantages when it comes to retirement. And they just threw all their money into paying off this particular home. They never focused on earning. And they do a great job of retiring at 65, debt-free and poor.
Yeah, and you got stressed because you ain't got no hair because you busted your ass working so much you didn't live life.
Yeah, so I just, I wanted to point out this particular piece. I shared it in a story. I didn't share it in a post because I figured stories only last 24 hours. We were going to do a podcast episode on it.
Well, thanks God. I hope your ass isn't chappy anymore.
Yeah, so here's what we'd love to do. If you're on YouTube checking this out, I'd love your comments. I would love to see
debate, yes,
what you have to say. Like, call us out if you disagree.
Mostly
disagree, but please offer some kind of a rationale as to why you disagree. Please back up your commentary. If you agree, give us a thumbs up. Give us a hell yeah. If you weren't watching us on YouTube, but you're listening on Spotify or Apple, hey, give us a review, subscribe, share what we're doing with not 1, not 2, but at least 3 people. And specifically, if you are in mortgage or real estate, we made this for your clients, for your borrowers, your buyers. Please make sure you're getting this out to them. You're not only doing us a favor, but you're doing them a favor by sharing this type of content. If you're a loan officer, please check out what we're doing at tloponline.com. At a minimum, sign up for our newsletter. It is free. And by being signed up to the newsletter, you will also be able to join one of our monthly calls for free just by being signed up with the newsletter.
Toasty.
On that note, Tallahassee, we're coming for you. Scottsdale, Arizona, can't wait to see you. He's John Coleman. I'm Dustin Owen. That's all the time we have for you today. But we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.